COVID arrived, we were very impressed by the speed with which Israeli startups, Israeli tech companies pivoted and started looking for ways to apply their technology to solving the problems associated with COVID, a wide variety of problems. In fact, we started creating a landscape of COVID-relevant companies, Corona-relevant companies. We even have it on Startup Nation Finder as a separate category now. And we started in March with about 70 companies. By now, there are over 250 and maybe close to 300. They're coming on board every day. This is not just window dressing. We screen those out. They come from a wide variety of disciplines, whether it's life sciences, whether it's big data and AI, identifying all kinds of probable hotspots of infection, identifying people, what's the likelihood of them having corona based on auxiliary data, medical devices applying to completely different use cases, cybersecurity and privacy protection, mental health protection, supporting supply chains, all kinds of solutions that are helping the world to deal with this, with the disruptions associated with corona.
Thank you, Eugene. That was interesting. I mean, what are the enablers that allow for this rapid search on technological solutions in this crisis in Israel?
Many countries had to deal with the consequences of corona, and technology played and plays a very important role in this process. I believe that in Israel we had several features that assisted in this process. One is the smallness and connectedness of the ecosystem. That is one of the goals that our organization is trying to reach is to connect the ecosystem closer and closer. That helps a lot, because once you have the ecosystem connected and mapped, and there is a single depository of all the startups and all their technologies, and you know them well, it's relatively easy. What remains is to collect the needs and then to bring them together. So this is something that we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic. This is something that we've been doing for the last 7 years in much less dramatic conditions, but it's something that really worked well. Also very useful is the fact that in Israel, the healthcare system is very concentrated. Clalit, for example, is the second largest HMO in the world in one of the smaller countries in the world. So moreover, Clalit actually initiated, and another HMO initiated the creation of EMRs, electronic medical records, in the late 20th century. So we now have world's longest large-scale data, electronic data for a fairly large population, over 4.5 million people. This helps as well. And finally, we, like I said, SNC as well as other organizations created a variety of tools where companies, governments, and including, of course, Israeli government, could post their challenges, and companies could address, could find ways to address them. And so we've seen a very large demand for that from anywhere from India through Europe, Africa, and South America, and of course, United States. And this has been a very useful tool for us to connect the solutions to the challenges.
So how can we take advantage of the current challenges to actually encourage innovation?
Well, the current crisis represents a serious challenges today. It also represents quite a dramatic shift in the way we're going to live and interact between ourselves, as well as do our business in a variety of ways. And one of the most important ways that is going to affect the way we interact is through medical care. And digital health which is basically bringing data and into this process of providing healthcare, whether it's in diagnosis, whether it's in providing workflows, etc. Basically collecting, analyzing data, and issuing insights. And in some cases, it's actually either incorporated or combined with medical devices. And digital health is going to be the main winner, in our opinion, because not only that this is the only way for the future to deal with pandemics like that, not only it's the only way for the reduction of cost of healthcare in the developed world, because otherwise we cannot afford the linear increase in healthcare costs, but it's also the only way to make healthcare accessible to the developing world, especially in the times of such dire needs as we see now, which in developing world are much more prevalent than they are in developed world. And Israel has a very strong presence in this area. There are over 600 companies coming from a variety of technologies that have not necessarily been developed for the healthcare, but they are used in healthcare because, like we said earlier, people have pivoted when they realize that there are challenges that can be addressed with their technology. Whether it's sensors and big data and AI and anomaly detection, communications, all of these allow for very interesting solutions in digital healthcare, and strongly recommend exploring them.